Hello children, how are you all? I am Mrs. Arpita Prateek Singh and I will be teaching you chemistry and biology for class 9. Before going for the syllabus, I would like to know how was your summer vacations? I hope you might have worked on your science model, that is either the 3D structure or the working model. Now coming to the syllabus, I would like to talk to you regarding the previous two chapters which we have already winded. The first chapter of chemistry we have winded up, and the second we have taken of biology, that was cell or the fundamental unit of life. Those two chapters we have already winded up, question answers and notes were already given to you. Now today I will be proceeding with you with the next chapter, that is chapter number 7, diversity in living organisms. Now before going for this chapter, I would like to make you focus on the slide which is containing a beautiful thought. The thought goes like that: if you do not know the names of things, then the knowledge of them is lost too. Now, before going for the chapter, I would like you all to concentrate and focus on this quotation so that you will not question yourself or to your parents or to your teacher that why this diversity chapter is there in class 9. Because it is very important for you to know the names of the things which are around you. Now coming to the chapter, we'll be having topics that is introduction of the chapter, then basis of the classification, then classification and evolution, the hierarchy of classification, then five kingdom classification. That five kingdom classification is the past of hierarchical classification. This five kingdom classification will include kingdom Monera, kingdom Protist, kingdom Fungi or Fungi, kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia, and our last topic will be nomenclature. In this slide, we'll try to complete introduction, basis of classification, hierarchical classification, and five kingdom classification. Now coming to the introduction. Now biodiversity is the term which is used to define the diversity of living forms. That means different living forms including plants, animals, microorganisms which are present nearby us. We'll be studying about them. If we talk about diversity of the life forms, then diversity of life form is often used to refer to the variety of life forms around in a particular geographical area. Now here particular geographical area means desert area, means rainforest, then colder areas, like that. They are all geographical areas. This diversity of life forms of a particular region provides the stability in the respective region. Now, how they provide stability? So we can just concentrate that if we take the example, suppose we are living over here. So we have a particular geographical area, we have a particular biodiversity over here. The trees, that is flora, then fauna, animals which are present over here, they provide the stability, make a balance in the ecosystem. Coming to the terminologies of the chapter which we will have to conclude in this chapter. Now coming to the first term, that is diversity. So diversity is the presence of different organisms in the same ecosystem or a geographical area. Different organisms, that is plants, animals, microorganisms, fungi, which are all present in a ecosystem. Next coming to evolution. Now evolution is a slow process by which the organism change according to the need to survive in the particular environment. Evolution leads to the formation of new organism and more diversity in the ecosystem. That means different organisms are formed plus new diversity comes in the process of evolution. The best example of evolution we can take is of the Komodo dragon, the lizards, the chameleon. They all are the evolution of the dinosaurs. So they are ancestors of the dinosaurs. Next coming to the need for classification. Now we will focus on why it is important to classify all the organisms. Then the first thing is that to make the study of organisms very convenient, if we'll divide them as animals, that too animals which are having vertebrates, that is backbone, animals which are not having vertebrates, animals which crawl, animals which walk. It will help us to study them easily. Then facilitates identification of the organism, easy to identify, that shows the relationship among the various groups, that is like if animal group like we can say cat and lion and tiger belong to the same group, and so shows the evolutionary trends, like how the evolution came step by step. Next and the last is it helps in the interpreting the fossil records. Now fossil records which the scientist studies, like a fossil of the dinosaur and fossil of the different animals, it helps to interpret the record easily. Now coming to the systems of biological classification. There are three systems of biological classification. One is artificial system, second is natural, and third one is phylogenetic classification. Now artificial system is the system which is made by us, which is based upon two type of classification, that is what type of organism is that, how it is formed. Natural classification is its morphology, its look, physiology, its whole appearance, and anatomy, that means internal appearance. Coming to phylogenetic, that means what were his ancestors, how these ancestors used to work, and all these type of classification is done in the phylogenetic. So these are the three systems of classification of biology. Next, coming to the system. Now we have a system of classification. There are total four type of systems of classifications which were given. One was two kingdom classification, second was three kingdom classification, third was five kingdom classification, and last was the six kingdom classification. In our syllabus, we'll be focusing more on five kingdom classification. But before going to five kingdom classification, I would like you all to focus on two kingdoms classification. Now, two kingdom classification was given by Carolus Linnaeus in 1758, who divided the living organisms in two kingdoms, that is Plantae and Animalia. Now, Plantae or plants consist of the organism which were having green color or which can perform photosynthesis, and another Animalia was classified at the basis of the walking and eating. Now the biggest drawback of this classification was, first, the grouping of diverse organisms into two kingdoms is unsatisfactory and unrealistic. Next, it also brings together non-photosynthetic fungi and photosynthetic green plants. Like we can take the example, if we are grouping organisms in plants and animals, so then what about fungi or fungi? And if we are classifying animals only in animals, so then what about microorganism, insect, and what about vertebrates, invertebrates? That classification was not possible. So these major two drawbacks were there of this two kingdom classification. So two kingdom classification was not followed. Next came the system of classification. Now I am giving you the flow chart to make you understand like all these kingdoms of classification. This six kingdom we have not included. We have only included two kingdom, three kingdom, four kingdom, and five kingdom. Now two kingdom classification was depending upon the kingdom Plantae and Animalia. Three kingdom classification was developed by Ernest Haeckel in 1866, which was given as Protist, Plantae, and Animalia. Now unicellular organisms were counted in kingdom Protista, that means bacteria, protozoas, euglena, and all paramecium, they were counted in this. Then coming to four kingdom classification, this was given by Copeland in 1966. Now this kingdom Monera, kingdom Protist, Plantae, and Animalia were included. Now over here Protist was divided in Monera and Protist. Monera was including which was including bacteria. Gram-positive, gram-negative bacteria was there. Archaebacteria were included. In Protist, Paramecium, Euglena were included. Plantae, all the photosynthetic plants were included. That is eukaryotic plants, and animals included all the animals. Next came the five kingdom classification. It was having Monera, Protista, Mycocota, that is kingdom fungi or fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Now Monera Protista I already told you. Coming to kingdom fungi. Now we all know that fungus is there or fungi is there, which is some of them are photosynthetic, some are not photosynthetic in nature. So depending upon that thing, it was given another kingdom, and in this way 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 kingdoms were given by Whitaker in 1969. Coming to the theory of evolution. Now it is important for us to know about even the scientists who have worked on this, because one mark question can come on that. Coming to Charles Darwin. Now Charles Darwin was an English biologist and a naturalist. He traveled from Bengal to Galapagos Island in South America. Using his observation, he proposed the theory of evolution in the book of Origin of Species. Now he is one of the known person, Charles Darwin, who has worked on the theory of evolution and the survival of the fittest. In his book, he has mentioned about how organisms have developed or evolved from one generation to another generation. Coming to taxonomy. Now, taxonomy is a branch of science that deals with the classification of organisms. Classification is done, that naming is done and classified on the basis of mode of nutrition, on the basis of locomotion, on the basis of the examples, on the basis of body type. Now, taxonomy is also known as taxonomy is given in the hierarchical basis. Hierarchical basis, that is step by step on the basis of similarities organisms are classified. Taxonomical hierarchy or hierarchical classification of the organisms is the arrangement into the groups or level according to their similarities, whatever similarity they are having. To the hierarchy, the organisms have less similarities. Hierarchy, as we proceed up and up and up, they have less similarities. That we'll discuss later on. Now coming to the hierarchy of the classification. We have species, we have genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom, domain and life. Here domain and life we are not counting much. We are only focusing on these points. Species, genus, family, order, class, phylum and kingdom. Here example is given to make you understand what exactly these things are. Like for example, we have taken the example from kingdom, from up to down will come. So kingdom we have taken for panther, that is kingdom, Animalia, phylum chordate, class Mammalia, then order, that is its eating habits, carnivore, family Felidae, genus Panthera, species name is Panthera pardus. This is an example. Now, if we want to understand them, so we can take like kingdom, we can say universe, phylum like earth, and then coming to earth, earth के बाद क्या आ जाएगा? Asia, एशिया के बाद क्या आ जाता है? एशिया के अंदर इंडिया, कमिंग फ्रॉम इंडिया टू मध्य प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश से हम क्या आ जाते हैं? अगर हम हमारे स्कूल की बात करते हैं तो फ्रॉम मध्य प्रदेश वी कैन टेक रतलाम, एंड रतलाम से मित्र निवास रोड पे सेंट जोसेफ कॉन्वेंट। इस तरह से लाइक स्पेसिफिक पार्ट होता है स्पीशी, जैसे हमें कॉन्वेंट स्कूल एक स्पेसिफिक पार्ट है, और कहाँ से ट्रेवल करके आ रहे हैं हम? यूनिवर्स से। तो यहाँ पे सारे कॉन्वेंट के बच्चे रहेंगे, यहाँ पे दूसरे स्कूलों के भी हो सकते हैं, यहाँ पे बहुत सारे स्कूलों के। दैट वे वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग। Next, coming to our next slide. Our next slide includes the hierarchical naming of humans. It is not important for you to right now know all these things if you are confused, but I'm just letting you know. This I will explain in our last topic, that is nomenclature. Now, we humans are known as Homo sapiens. So, we are counted in Animalia. Our phylum is Chordate. Our class will be Mammalia because we are mammals. Our order will be Primate. We are very primitive in nature. Our family will be Hominidae. And our genus will be Homo and species will be Sapiens. Now, even Homo sapiens are also divided in that nematodes and sapiens, that we'll study in our last slide. Coming to binomial nomenclature. Now, nomenclature is basically a naming pattern which is followed all over the world similarly. This nomenclature is very, very important in order to study about the organisms of all the living ones. Now, nomenclature or binomial nomenclature was given by Carolus Linnaeus, who was a Swedish botanist, and physician, which is also known as father of the taxonomy. He introduced binomial nomenclature and laid the ground rules which paved way to the modern taxonomy. He was the one, Carolus Linnaeus. Now what he did, he gave the scientific name which was composed of two parts, genus and species. Now genus and species here we have seen. This is genus and this is species. Including them, he has given the name. Since these two names are used, that is why it is called binomial nomenclature system. Now the first part, that is genus, which is written always in capital, it should be capital, and the second part is the species name, which is always written in small letters. Genus capital and species will be small. Next, coming to five kingdom classification. Now that was two kingdom classification. Now it is five kingdom classification. Five kingdom classification was given by Robert Harding Whittaker. His son is given 1920 to 1980. He has given the five kingdom classification, like first kingdom is the Monera, second is the Protist, third is the plant, fourth fungi, and then animalia. Monera included all the prokaryotes which absorb and which photosynthesize, and they are non-motile and non-sexual. Protist includes all the eukaryotic unicellular or multicellular organisms which are photosynthetic, which are sexual as well as asexual. Here only asexual, but sexual and asexual. Next, plants, eukaryotic, multicellular, photosynthetic. They are non-motile as well as they are sexual. Even plants we have non-sexual, but right now we are counting them as sexual. Next, coming to eukaryote multicellular, which absorbs sunlight, non-motile and sexual, that is fungi. Coming to animals, eukaryotic multicellular, ingest, motile and sexual, that we all know. Coming to criteria for five kingdom classification. So there is criteria which need to be followed. First is the complexity of the cell structure. Like cell का structure कैसा है, वो कितना complex है, unicellular है कि multicellular है. Then complexity of the organism's body. Body, it is a cellular level, tissue level or organ level body organization. Mode of nutrition, whether it is saprophytic, symbiotic, parasitic, photosynthetic, autotrophic, whatever it is. Lifestyle, how they are living, how they are surviving, how they are eating, their habits and habitats, and their even that geographical area. Then comes phylogenetic relationship. A phylogenetic relationship includes like who are their ancestors, what type of behavior they are showing, all these things are included in phylogenetic. This is a flowchart given by Robert Whittaker in 1969. Organisms which are divided as on the basis of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic are the primitive ones, eukaryotic are recent ones. Prokaryotic includes Monera, that is kingdom Monera. Eukaryotic include Protist, which are unicellular in nature, and multicellular, which are divided in three on the basis of with cell wall and without cell wall. With cell wall, plants are there and fungi is there. Plants are phototrophic in nature, fungi are heterotrophic in nature. Without cell wall is the animal. Cell wall, that means cell structure. The cell wall, cell membrane, plasma membrane, these things are there. So plants are having cell wall and cell membrane. But animals do not have cell wall, they only have cell membrane. So this is the classification of all the five kingdoms. This flowchart will help you in your exam time as well as in the understanding of the chapter. Now coming to the examples. Here are the kingdom examples of the kingdom Monera. Moneras are there, bacteria, archaebacteria and eubacteria. Now here bacteria are of two types. Gram-positive bacteria, gram-negative bacteria. Now gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria are very important because gram-positive bacteria causes disease which can be cured within few days. But negative bacteria causes chronic diseases which require more time, and even their medication differs. Next, coming to kingdom Protist. Kingdom Protist consists of protozoa and algae. Protozoa like paramecium, euglena, amoeba, all these things, and algae. Blue-green algae, red algae, all these things are there. Then come to kingdom fungi. Fungi includes mushroom, yeast and mold. Now mushroom, yeast and mold, you all know that mushroom is an edible fungi. Yeast is used in making breads and fermented products. Coming to kingdom plante is divided on the basis of the cotyledons, on the basis of the herbs, shrubs and trees, like fern is there, moss is there, broad level trees, then conifer trees are there. Next we have, yes, broad level leaf trees and conifer trees. Next and the last comes kingdom animals or animalia, which includes insects, squids, that is animals which are present in water, hordes, earthworms, sponges. On the basis of their appearance, on the basis of their lifestyle, eating habits, then again this kingdom animalia, kingdom plante and all these kingdoms will be sub-explained or divided. Now coming to distinguishing characteristics of the five kingdom classification. Here we have written the names of the kingdom. Here we have written the characteristics. First is the cell type, nuclear envelope, cell wall, mode of nutrition and multicellularity. Coming to the first is kingdom Monera. Now kingdom Monera is prokaryotic in nature. Nuclear envelope is absent because prokaryotic one. No cellulose present, that means cell wall is absent. Then they are autotrophic or heterotrophic in nature. We all know sometimes some can perform photosynthesis, some cannot perform the photosynthesis. Then multicellularity is absent because they are prokaryotic in nature. Coming to protist, they are eukaryotic in nature. Nuclear envelope is present. Then cell wall is present in some form, like in some present, some not present. That they are photosynthetic or heterotrophic in nature. Then multicellularity, in most of them it is absent. Coming to kingdom fungi, eukaryotic, it is nuclear envelope is present, cell wall is made up of chitin or chitin, then it is a particular type of protein which helps in the formation of the cell wall, which gives the hard covering. Coming to mode of nutrition and heterotrophic, absorbs through the skin and heterotrophically perform the mode of nutrition. Multicellularity present in most of the organisms. And coming to plantae, they are eukaryotic in nature. Nuclear envelope is present in them. Cell wall is made up of cellulose and polysaccharides. Cellulose and polysaccharides. Cellulose are the protein types. Polysaccharides are the sugar bases, which helps in the formation of the cell wall. They perform photosynthesis because they are plant. Then multicellularity is present in all the forms, like they are divided in roots, stem, branches, leaves, flowers and all this there. So it shows that they are multicellular in nature. Then coming to animal. Now kingdom animal consists, they are eukaryotic, nuclear envelope is present, cell wall is absent. अगर सेल वॉल होगी तो हमारा बॉडी कितना इरेक्ट हो जाएगा, हम झुक नहीं पाएंगे, हिल नहीं पाएंगे, कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, इमेजिन. देन मोड ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन इंजेशन, एंगल्फ करते हैं, कुछ खाते हैं और कुछ होते हैं हेट्रोट्रॉफिक होते हैं जो दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंड करते हैं फोटोसिंथेसिस के लिए एंड फूड के लिए. लास्ट इज मल्टीसेलुलरिटी, दैट इज प्रेजेंट इन ऑल द फॉर्म्स, सभी के अंदर है, हमारे अंदर है. जैसे वी हैव लिवर, वी हैव हार्ट, वी हैव लंग्स विच परफॉर्म डिफरेंट फंक्शन. अगर मल्टी सेलुलर नहीं होंगे तो हमारे बॉडी के इतने सारे फंक्शंस कोई और नहीं कर पाएगा. नेक्स्ट कमिंग टू some of the frequently asked questions related to this much topic. First question is like, what is cell classification? I've already explained you. And what are the different levels of classification? Classification को किस basis पे करा गया? Then what are the drawbacks of two kingdom classification? Two kingdom classification के क्या क्या drawbacks हो सकते हैं? And last, in which kingdom are the prokaryotes classified? Prokaryotes क्या में classified है? सिर्फ एक ही kingdom में तो है, that is Monera. These are the few questions I have given just to make you familiar. Okay? Apart from NCERT text question, these questions are also which can be formed. Here are the answers which are given for these questions. You can go through these answers. Like, what is classification? So classification is the arrangement of the plants and animals in the taxonomical groups according to the similarities and different observations. Then what are the different level of classification? The different level of classification are kingdom, phylum, class, order, genus, family, species. Next, what are the drawbacks of two kingdom classification? Now, if we talk about the drawbacks, so in two kingdom classification, the plants includes photosynthetic and non-photosynthetic species. Fungi which feed on dead organic matter were also placed in the photosynthetic plants. This was the drawback. Like what it was there, the photosynthetic and non-synthetic, photosynthetic दोनों को प्लांट में डाल दिया था. That is not possible. प्लांट में तो सिर्फ हम इसी को डाल सकते हैं, क्योंकि फंगी जो है वो दूसरे एनिमल्स पे फीड करता है. तो अगर दूसरे एनिमल्स पे फीड कर रहा था, इसका मतलब वो एनिमल में आना चाहिए. तो why it was coming in plant kingdom? So this was the major drawback. Now, in which kingdom are the prokaryotes classified? So prokaryotes are classified in the kingdom Monera. There are two types of kingdom which include prokaryotes, that is eubacteria and archaebacteria. These are the other two kingdoms which are subkingdoms of Monera. This was about your chapter. In our next slide, I'll be explaining you about the classification of plants and classification of animals. Now, till then, I would ask you all to go through the slide again and again. If you have any doubt, you can clear through our Campus Care site. I'll be answering your questions at the same time. Apart from that, the particular 5 kingdoms which I have for the basis of classification which I have given, the kingdom, phylum and species. If you face problem, then I'll be explaining you again in our next slide, because they are little typical topics and even their definitions will be explained more nicely to you. Till then, study through your NCERT textbook, study through online, whatever book it is available to study. Chapter is very easy. It's just you need to give your concentration and little bit interest is required. Without interest, nothing is possible, and if you don't know the names, then you don't know about the particular organism. So till we meet again, take care, stay safe, stay home, and keep studying. This is your teacher Arpita Singh saying bye-bye.